17 seconds. That's all it took for a political event to ignite into a national flashpoint. Fox News Town Hall. The room is packed, veterans in worn caps, retirees with pill organizers tucked in their bags, factory workers in faded jackets, each one carrying the weight of decades of work. This isn't a casual audience. These people live on the monthly check that tonight's discussion is about. The cameras are live. White-hot stage lights wash over every face. The moderator hasn't even finished setting the scene when Donald Trump leans forward, grips the lectern, and drops it. "I'll blow up whatever I want, including Social Security." Silence hits like a brick wall. The air in the room changes instantly. A veteran in the front row freezes, his right hand trembling, not from age, but from fury he's keeping under control. Beside him, a retired teacher clutches a worn notebook like it's the only thing holding her together. A widow twists a single tissue in her hands, the paper fraying between her fingers. Somewhere in the back, a man in a work jacket shifts forward in his seat, ready to shout. But he doesn't. Not yet. The broadcast catches all of it: the faces, the shock, the disbelief. Across the country, people watching from their living rooms feel the hit in their gut. This isn't campaign banter. This is a direct threat. Jasmine Crockett sits steady, shoulders squared, palms flat on the table. Her eyes sweep the room, not in a glance, but in a slow, deliberate scan, memorizing faces, reading the emotions. This is why she's here. And in this moment, she knows her opponent has just handed her the weapon she needs. Trump stands at ease, a smirk playing on his lips, as if expecting applause. A few claps do break out, scattered, hesitant. But the sound dies quickly in the heavy quiet that follows. And then it comes. From deep in the crowd, a voice, quiet but clear. "That's my check you're talking about." Heads turn. Someone nods. Someone else murmurs agreement. The ripple of discontent moves through the seats like a silent wave. The moderator tries to regain control. Tonight, our focus is Social Security reform. But even his voice stumbles for half a beat. He knows the atmosphere has shifted. Jasmine doesn't jump in. She lets Trump's words hang in the air like toxic smoke. She wants everyone in the room and everyone watching to sit with them, to think, if he can threaten this, what else could he take away? A sigh escapes from the second row, loud enough for the mics to catch. In the back, a couple of people shake their heads, their expressions turning from curiosity to something harder. Trump tries to double down. "The system's broken. We'll fix it my way or it goes." But it doesn't land the way he thinks it does. The audience isn't locked on him anymore. They're watching her. The cameras turn to Jasmine. Her face is calm, but her gaze is sharp enough to cut glass. She doesn't speak. Not yet. The silence is her weapon, and it's doing its job. Those who know her style can see it. She's holding the moment, letting it grow. She's not going to waste it in a shouting match. She's going to turn these 17 seconds into the foundation of an attack he won't see coming. People in the audience lean forward. People at home lean closer to their screens. And somewhere, deep down, they've already realized this moment is the line in the sand. 17 seconds have passed. But the echo of them? That's just beginning. The moment arrives in silence. The debate is halfway through. The stage is set for yet another round of talking points, polished lines, and rehearsed jabs. Trump is leaning on the lectern, rolling out his usual speech about modernizing broken systems, voice smooth, confident, until Jasmine Crockett moves. Her hand slips down into the narrow space beneath her podium. Slowly, deliberately, she brings up a slim, worn manila folder. She doesn't rush. She places it squarely on the lectern like a card in a high-stakes game, then opens it with care. The movement is small, but it changes everything. The air in the studio tightens. The moderator hesitates mid-sentence. Cameras refocus, zooming in, sensing a shift. Jasmine slides a single page into the light. She doesn't wave it around. She doesn't raise her voice. She lets the paper speak first. Bold black text catches the front row camera. Beneficial to executive interests. Underlined twice. She looks straight ahead, voice steady, but carrying an edge that slices through the room. A memo from 2018, Trump administration. It details Social Security cuts to free funds for targeted infrastructure. A low ripple moves through the audience. The moderator leans forward, brow furrowed. She continues. This wasn't about saving money. This wasn't efficiency. This was moving billions from the checks people earned to private projects tied directly to him. She doesn't look at Trump. Not yet. She looks out into the crowd as if speaking directly to every retiree watching from their living room. Trump lunges for the mic, voice louder now. That's a lie, folks. Totally fake. I've never seen that before in my life. The denial comes fast, sharp, desperate. He tries to flood the air with words. Fake document. Political theater. But the audience isn't with him. The first boo comes from the left side, sharp enough to make him pause. Another follows from the back rows. The sound builds. Not a roar, not yet, but a steady, rising disapproval that eats into his timing. Jasmine waits for the noise to crest. Then she reads again, slower this time. The political fallout can be mitigated by framing cuts as modernization. She finally turns her eyes on him. Modernization. That's what you called taking from people who paid in their whole lives. His mouth opens, but his voice cracks under the pressure. The moderators try to calm the crowd, but the balance has shifted. Jasmine closes the folder, slides it back under the podium. No smile, no triumph, just a steady, unbroken gaze into the camera, the kind that makes viewers at home feel like she's speaking straight to them. Across the stage, Trump's smirk is gone. His eyes dart from the moderators to the audience, searching for a safe place to land. There isn't one. The boos fade, replaced by a quiet so sharp it feels dangerous. Jasmine leans into her mic, her tone warmer now, but cutting clean. This isn't about me and him. This is about you. The check that shows up every month. The one you earned. Your check is not a bargaining chip. She starts painting pictures. A widowed grandmother in Ohio keeping her heat on through the winter. A Vietnam veteran in Texas who pays for his medicine and his mortgage with those benefits. A single mother in Detroit caring for her disabled son, counting on that deposit to cover what her paycheck can't. These aren't numbers on a budget sheet. They're rent payments, they're groceries, they're the pills that keep you alive. You don't gamble with that. You don't threaten it to make a deal. You protect it like your own family. The camera stays locked on her. No split screen, no distraction. Just her words and her face, steady and unflinching. When someone says they'll blow up whatever they want, they're telling you they'll put themselves first and last. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. We all have parents, grandparents, people we love who depend on this. That's not a partisan issue. That's a promise. She doesn't look back at Trump. Her audience isn't in that room. It's in millions of homes. Seniors with the remote in one hand, working parents on their phones in break rooms, veterans sitting alone with the volume turned up. If you believe that promise matters, then don't stay quiet. Speak up, show up, because they're counting on you not paying attention. And I know you're watching now. The applause starts uneven, a few claps, then more, building until the room is alive again. Trump's jaw is tight, his knuckles grip the lectern. He knows the tide has shifted, and the millions watching at home, they've just seen the mask slip. By sunrise, the counterattack machine is already in motion. Cable news hosts read from the same invisible script, moving from early morning shows to late-night commentary without missing a beat. Dangerous, anti-business, a threat to economic stability. They don't argue the memo's contents. They don't even acknowledge them. Instead, they go for her directly. Clips from the debate are chopped and rearranged. Networks replay moments of Jasmine raising her voice, but cut away before the damning lines about the memo. Conservative pundits smirk into the camera, calling her performance Oscar-worthy theatrics. One even laughs, "If Congress doesn't work out, Hollywood's hiring." The studio audience claps on cue. On one primetime panel, a former Trump advisor leans forward with practiced indignation. This is exactly what's wrong with Washington, radical showboats scaring seniors for votes. Not a single panelist addresses the document in her hands. They don't have to. The goal is to turn the story into her, not what she revealed. In Jasmine's DC office, her team watches it all unfold in real time. One aide slams the remote onto the table. "They're not even denying what's in the memo," she says, her voice tight. "They're just making you the scandal." Her communications director scribbles furiously, mapping which hosts are pushing which talking points, tracking the network of influence. It's fast, it's coordinated, and it's dangerous. Online, the battle burns hotter. The hashtags Chacha hands off Social Security and Dacha blow it up are still trending. But now they're competing with Igacha's Crockett chaos and Dacha drama over data. Meme accounts churn out looping clips of her folder reveal spliced next to movie scenes. Influencers post side-by-side shots, Jasmine holding the memo, and a Hollywood actress holding a prop, with captions implying the whole thing was staged. Some go further, claiming the document was manufactured in a Democrat back room. At the end of the long conference table, Jasmine sits still, listening to the storm. Her team vents, their voices sharp, their frustrations spilling over. She stays calm. "This is what they do when they can't kill the truth," she says quietly. "They go after the messenger." The room falls silent for a moment. Her chief of staff finally answers, "Yeah, and they're very good at it." By mid-afternoon, Fox is running a chyron that reads, "Crockett meltdown, Congresswoman under fire for debate antics." On talk radio, callers mock her tone, her clothes, even her smile. It's personal now, exactly how they want it. And then, in the middle of the noise, an email lands in her inbox. The subject line, "You spoke for me." It's from an older woman in Iowa, one sentence long. "I don't care what they call you. You spoke for me last night." Jasmine reads it twice before closing her laptop. It reminds her why she took the risk. But it also reminds her how fragile the truth can be when buried under a landslide of lies. The attacks keep coming. Louder. Nastier. They're designed not just to discredit her, but to exhaust the public into tuning out. That's the real danger. Not that they win the argument, but that people stop listening altogether. So Jasmine makes a choice. She won't fight the smear war on their terms. She'll go somewhere the cameras almost never follow. To the people who feel this fight in their bones. No entourage, no scripted rally, just a flight to Florida, to a retirement community 30 miles inland. Sunshine palms, beige buildings, peeling paint, but lawns trimmed neat. Inside, the hall smells faintly of coffee and antiseptic. Word of her visit has spread. Dozens of residents wait in the rec room, some in wheelchairs, others leaning on canes. The first to speak is an 82-year-old woman in a faded pink cardigan. Her Social Security check covers rent and utilities, but not the heart medicine keeping her alive. Her voice doesn't crack, but her hands twist the hem of her sweater. In the back, a man says he worked 45 years on the docks and still has to choose between groceries and dental care. Around the room, heads nod, some in anger, some in resignation. Jasmine doesn't bring charts or handouts. She just listens. She pulls a folding chair into the circle, eye level. She asks names, jobs, how long they've lived here. She lets the pauses linger long enough for more people to speak. Each story is another thread in a web stretching far beyond this room. When she finally speaks, her tone is different from the debate stage. Softer, but heavier. What you've told me today, this is exactly what I was talking about up there. This isn't charity. This is what you earned. At first, the words land quietly. Then a man stands, back bent, voice steady. They can call you whatever they want, but you're the first one in a long time to come here and not just smile for the picture. She hugs him. The cameras outside don't matter. Others stand too. Some wiping tears, others clapping. That night, the local news runs the segment first in their broadcast. Viewers see the faces, hear the voices, and feel the weight of what's at stake. In the noise of national politics, the visit might look small, but for the people in that room, and for those watching across the state, it's proof she's not backing down. The morning after Florida, Jasmine Crockett walks into the Capitol with a folder under her arm, but this time it's not a leak, not a memo. It's her own work, bold at the top, Social Security Protection Act. By noon, more than a dozen lawmakers have signed on as co-sponsors. Some allies, some surprising names from across the aisle. They gather on the Capitol steps. The winter air is sharp, the cameras are relentless, but the message is clean. If you paid in, you get it. No exceptions. A senator steps up, voice carrying across the lawn. This bill protects every dime from cuts, privatization, or so-called modernization schemes, period. Reporters push in. Jasmine keeps her remarks short. This is about keeping a promise. If they want to fight me on that, they're fighting millions of Americans. That soundbite hits every network within the hour. It doesn't take long for Trump to notice. By late afternoon, his Twitter feed lights up. Crockett's Protection Act is a scam. More DC waste, socialism, lies. The post is paired with a still from the debate, captioned, "She loves drama, folks, not results." His base amplifies it instantly. But instead of killing momentum, the attack pours gasoline on it. Within minutes, Jardshank's Social Security Protection Act trends nationwide. Supporters post clips of Jasmine explaining the bill, photos of retirees holding their benefit statements, side by side with images of the leaked memo. Inside her office, staffers watch analytics spike in real time. One aide shakes her head, half smiling. "He just gave us a week of free advertising." Jasmine doesn't smile, But her eyes tell the story. She's seen political miscalculations before. The more he talks about her bill, the harder it becomes to ignore. By early evening, the media has shifted focus. News anchors are breaking down the bill's key provisions in detail. No cuts, automatic cost of living adjustments, stronger safeguards against benefit freezes. Local reporters are explaining it in plain language at kitchen tables across the country. And the calls start. Constituents light up congressional phone lines. Many demand their representatives sign on as co-sponsors. The pressure is real, and it's bipartisan. Lawmakers who stayed quiet during the debate now call Jasmine's office to learn more, political code for testing which way the wind is blowing. The list of co-sponsors grows daily. Each new name is a small victory, but Jasmine knows the real battle hasn't started yet. The bill has to survive committee hearings, floor debates, and the inevitable swarm of lobbyists armed with deep pockets and friendly politicians. Late one night, the office is empty except for her. She sits at her desk with the bill in front of her, tracing her name at the top, not out of pride, but as a reminder. This isn't a vanity project, it's a line in the sand. Her phone buzzes. Photos flood in from across the country. Seniors holding handmade signs reading, "Hands off my Social Security." Veterans saluting into the camera. Parents with kids in tow holding her name scrawled on cardboard. None of them are asking her to fight. They're telling her she already is. She turns off the desk lamp and stands in the doorway, looking back at the stack of folders. The path ahead isn't clean. If she wins, she becomes an even bigger target. If she loses, Trump will call it proof she can't deliver. But for now, she has momentum. And in politics, momentum is power. The hearing date is set. The fight is about to move from the stage to the floor of the House. Every camera in the country will be pointed straight at her. The question isn't just whether the bill will pass, it's whether the fight for truth can survive the kind of pressure that's broken so many before her. The House floor is a battlefield before the first gavel hits. Every seat is taken. The air is thick with the low rumble of side conversations and the scratch of pens. Up in the galleries, reporters lean over railings, and citizens in hands off my Social Security shirts clutch signs in their laps. The tension is so dense, it feels like the walls themselves are holding their breath. The gavel comes down. Order. In name only. Within minutes, voices clash like steel on steel. Republicans call the bill reckless, anti-growth. Democrats fire back, accusing the opposition of selling out the very people who built the country. Procedural delays stack up, motions to postpone, objections to wording, calls for extended debate. It's not just obstruction, it's exhaustion as a strategy. Drag it out long enough, and maybe the momentum will die on its own. From her desk, Jasmine watches the floor like a general surveying the field. She's been through months of combat, Trump's insults, the media smears, threats in the night, the grind of vote whipping in back hallways. This is the last hill. She won't lose it to noise. One by one, Trump's allies take the mic. They aim every jab directly at her, not just the bill. Political stunt, fear-mongering, dangerous precedent. Each word is designed to make her snap. She doesn't. Her hands stay folded, eyes on her notes. Finally, her turn comes. She stands slowly. The chamber quiets, but not completely. A low hum remains, the sound of people waiting to see if she'll deliver. "This bill isn't about parties," she begins. "It's about people, and you don't blow up the roof over your own family." The metaphor lands. She pushes forward. That roof keeps veterans from freezing in winter. It keeps grandparents in their homes. It lets working parents buy medicine and still keep the lights on. You don't tear that down because it's politically convenient. Some lawmakers shift in their seats. Others avoid her eyes. The statistics are gone. The fight is now about something everyone understands: home. She closes without pause. If you vote against this, you're telling your constituents their home doesn't matter, and they will remember that. Silence. The gavel drops again. Roll call begins. One name at a time. Green lights for yes, red for no. The numbers climb in both columns. In the gallery, pens scratch furiously on notepads. On the floor, Jasmine grips the edge of her desk. She doesn't count ahead. Hope too early is dangerous. Then, a swing. A moderate in the back row flips to green. The board hits 218. The chamber freezes for a beat. Then it breaks. Cheers from one side, groans from the other. Jasmine's allies stand, clapping her on the back. Her eyes sting, but she holds it together. Across the aisle, Trump stands rigid, jaw locked. Without a word, he turns and walks out, his aides scrambling to keep up. Cameras follow him all the way to the doors, but he never looks back. In the gallery, the hands off my Social Security shirts stand and applaud. Their cheers carry over the din. Jasmine looks up and nods. A silent promise. The moment is hers, but it's not staged. No fist pumps for the cameras, no victory dance. Just a long, steady exhale. The bill has passed. The line in the sand now has the force of law. But outside, the world is still waiting. Allies are already planning the next push. Enemies are sharpening their knives. This fight isn't over. It's just moved to the next battlefield. That night, back in her district, she steps off a plane to see a crowd waiting on the tarmac. Veterans in ball caps, union members in work jackets, families with homemade signs. The applause starts before she reaches the bottom of the stairs. In her office later, a single camera waits. No podium, no crowd, just her and the lens. She speaks plainly. Social Security is not a privilege. It's not charity. It's a deal this country made with you, and it must be kept. She tells stories she's heard along the way. The retired steelworker counting pills to stretch them until the next check. The widow keeping her grandson in school. The veteran whose benefits are the only reason he has a home. You paid in. You worked for it. You were told it would be there when you needed it. No one should get to decide you don't deserve it. Her voice softens at the close. This fight was never just mine. It belongs to every person who spoke up, who called, who refused to believe their future was negotiable. You are the reason this bill passed, and you are the reason it will stand. The video goes live. Comments flood in, photos, stories, thank yous, veterans posting service pictures, grandparents holding grandkids, workers holding pay stubs next to their Social Security statements. In that moment, far from the marble floors of Washington, she knows the truth. Some promises aren't just written into law, they're etched into the trust of a generation. And tonight, that promise still stands.